gameranx presents another episode of Before You Buy, the show where we give you some first impressions and some straight up gameplay of the latest games releasing. Today we're talking about Overwatch. This is actually the first completely new Blizzard IP in 17 years. I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. So for those of you that don't know, Overwatch is a 6-on-6 first-person shooter arena character shooter game with a very fun, light, cartoony, Pixar-like style. Many people are comparing it as kind of like a spiritual successor to Team Fortress 2, and however you want to describe it, let's talk about how it feels. How is it? Well, I'll tell you in 3 words, it's fun, chaotic, and polished. So the matches are 6-on-6 with 21 different heroes to choose from. There's 12 different maps and a handful of different modes. I think Escort is my favorite game type, but there's also Standard Attack and Defend and King of the Hill style modes. And what I do really like here is that the maps are tied to specific game modes and are built and designed around being able to host those modes. It just makes everything feel so good and cohesive. The game mode actually really works with the map. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but when you experience it playing in the game, it all just feels so smooth. As for progression, because you need progression in basically every video game now, there's no level cap, so you can just grind through and continue to feel rewarded forever. When you reach milestones, you're rewarded with loot boxes in which you can open up to unlock skins, voices, poses, sprays, icons, and stuff like that. It's all really surface level, non-game changing stuff, but I think to some people, it will still feel substantial enough. There will be people who will have a ton of fun grinding to get the ultimate skin for one of their favorite characters. I think it's also worth mentioning you guys need to know that the loot boxes can actually be paid for and bought with real money, which might seem kind of off-putting because this is a full-priced game, but thankfully it's not very in your face and can be completely ignored, and most importantly, it's just all fluff. There's no pay-to-win here at all. This is just a fast, crazy, chaotic game, and it really works at its best when everybody knows their role. They know how to play their character, and they know how to work with other players. But on the flip side, it can also still be simple enough that if you just want to hop into a first-person shooter game and blow stuff away, you can get that too. And it really is so much fun because each character has completely different spins on everything, not only just with their abilities and their weapons, but also how they travel through the map. The play and feel of it all is great because of the maps, because they're designed, and some of them feel a little bit too large, but 90% of them are just right, and they're designed for every player to navigate through differently with a bunch of verticality. So there's always going to be great areas for snipers, tanks to hold position, turrets to be set up, not to mention the fact that each map is just an exotic location with its own vibe, feel, and distinct music. I don't know, it's just really cool. I get excited every time a new map loads up. I know that sounds silly, but hey, that's what this game does. I've seen playing and learning all the heroes being described as like getting drunk on all the heroes, and I think that's a really apt description. Playing and grinding and enjoying and discovering all the little intricacies of each character really gives the game the depth that it surely needs. You learn by playing. For example, you'll learn to stay away from Roadhog because he can pull you in close and fuck you up, but then you can also switch on the fly to Tjorborn, you know, the little dwarvy mechanic type of guy with his close-range shotgun that can just completely take care of that and counteract Roadhog. Even playing as a healer like Mercy is surprisingly fun, especially, once again, when everybody knows to play their role. The question remains if there may even be more balancing always needed, especially with the fact that players can choose the same character on the same team. Overwatch looks and runs great and smooth on both console and PC. Thankfully, playing with a controller isn't as bad as you think, but obviously if you're playing PC version, which is the best version, I didn't capture footage for it, this is all PS4 footage, you're gonna get the best experience on PC, especially because I feel like PC players really know what they're getting into with this game more than anybody, and they'll have a good idea of how to learn the characters quicker than people on console. There's a quick play mode and a challenge mode that's updated every week with different variations, as well as custom games being a thing, but you can't matchmake those custom games. Overall server performance and matchmaking has been fine, except for a few search slowdowns during prime time. So the price is where things get interesting, and I think it's where some of you guys may have already tuned out. It is completely full price on console and slightly cheaper on PC. It's an odd choice overall because this is just still a fully paid game that feels sometimes like a free-to-play game. You know, we're used to getting games like this in a free-to-play setting, but on the flip side, for paying and buying into this Blizzard game, you get all the later maps and add-ons and basically anything Blizzard does to the game. You get it all for free. It's all included. And if you know anything about Blizzard, you know that they support their games for a long-ass time. Like I did say in the beginning of the review, this is the first new Blizzard IP in 17 years. Still though, will that be enough? I'm not really sure. The real question here, and I think ultimately that's going to be one that you're going to have to figure out for yourself, is the lasting appeal. If you're a casual first-person shooter fan, you're going to have a lot of fun here, but are you going to play it forever? Probably not. That being said, if you do play a lot of these style games on PC and maybe you were are a big fan of Team Fortress 2, I can totally recommend this game. I think ultimately the lasting appeal is just how fun it is. While I've seen a lot of people comparing that the content is close to something like Battlefront, you know, with like the lack of single player and etc. But just how fun the core formula actually is what makes Overwatch a stronger game. That's why people are falling in love with it. That's why you see people already drawing fan art of the characters and playing the game obsessively, just because it is a well-tuned game that is well made, and it's just light and fun and enjoyable and just likable all around. So if you are the type of person that looks for a single player experience, or maybe you're just not too into the competitive scene, I'd say maybe right now Overwatch isn't for you. But on the other hand, if you fall on the other side of things and you love multiplayer shooters, especially on PC, I can totally recommend Overwatch. I know this is like a tired phrase of mine, but Overwatch isn't for everyone. But if it's for you, you're gonna really love it. So guys, those are the things I think you need to know about Overwatch, how it feels, what it has, how it plays, and how I feel about it. But most importantly, I do want to know in the comments what you guys think about Overwatch. And I really want to know what your favorite characters to play as. My personal favorites are McCree, Torbjorn, and Zarya. But I definitely want to hear about yours down in the comments. And let me know if you're just into Overwatch as a concept at all, if you're completely turned off by the price and the lack of single player, or if you're on the flip side and you're looking for some competitive stuff to sink your teeth into. Let's talk about it down in the comments below. You guys know I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, at Jake Baldino, if you want to talk about games over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Before you buy videos are some of my favorite things to do on this channel. And you gotta know, if you click that like button and you help us out, I love you. Thank you so much. And if this is your first time here, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.